Welcome back to another exciting episode of Immigration Fridays. I'm your host, Prashanthi Reddy, and I'm thrilled that you've joined us again. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on today's topics. Today, we will be talking about something that a lot of entrepreneurs aspire for. That's the EAD, the Employment Authorization Document, and how a person with an EAD can start and run a business. So, for all of you with those entrepreneurial ideas and with the entrepreneurial spirit, please stay tuned. Before we dive into this exciting world of entrepreneurship, let's quickly clarify what an EAD is and how you can get one. So the EAD, or the Employment Authorization Document, is often referred to as the work permit in the United States. It's a small laminated card issued by USCIS, but it has a lot of meaning. Think of it this way. While your visa grants you legal entry into the US and dictates your status, the EAD is a specific document that permits you to work. It explicitly states that you are authorized for employment in the United States. Now, it's not only essential to understand that not all visa holders automatically get an EAD. It's available, the EAD is only available to specific categories, so it's important to understand that. For example, the EAD is available for certain H4 dependents, that is, H1B dependents are called H4. So people who have a H1B and who have an I-140 approved, their spouses are eligible for an EAD. Dependents of the L1, intra-company transferee visa holders, they're called L2s. So the L2 spouses have automatic work authorization. That means that they automatically have the ability to work. They don't even have to apply for that card, or the Employment Authorization Document card. Along with that, there are many others who get an EAD card. Individuals who have pending adjustment of status, whether it be employment-based or family-based, asylum seekers, TPS, and also don't forget the students, people who are on OPT, whether it be post-completion OPT or STEM OPT. The EAD is crucial because for many it provides the flexibility to work for any employer in the US, or even work for themselves without being tied into a specific job or a specific company. Unlike some other visas like the H1 or the L1, where you have to work for a specific company and you cannot, in most circumstances, work for yourself, the EAD has a more entrepreneurial angle. So, can we use an EAD to open a business? If you hold an EAD in the US, whether it be H4 based EAD or L2 or even F1, you are typically authorized to work, and guess what? You can be self-employed. That is, you can be running your own business. So your EAD grants you legal permission to engage in any employment, and it doesn't restrict you from working for yourself. You can be your own boss. So you can develop those brilliant ideas, create jobs, contribute to the US economy, all with the valid EAD card. However, it's crucial to understand that while the EAD permits you to work, it doesn't change your underlying immigration status. And that brings us to the next point, which is key considerations when you're working on an EAD. You have to be aware of certain key elements because there are advantages and disadvantages with every status, and this is what you should remember if you have an EAD status. First and most important, you have to maintain your underlying status. EAD is not a status, it's a benefit given as a supplement to your status. So you have to make sure that you maintain your H4 or L2 status, and for that, your spouses have to maintain their own H1 or L1 status. Same thing with the student, same thing with TPS or any other status that you're in, which grants an EAD. Same thing with adjustment of status. If you have a 485 pending, you get an EAD. If your 485 gets denied, then your EAD cannot be used anymore. So make sure you maintain that underlying status. Be aware of the EAD renewal timelines. EADs often take 6 to 8 months to get renewed, and so you don't want to wait until last minute to renew your EAD. While in most instances, while the EAD is pending, if you file an EAD extension on time before the expiry of your previous EAD, you can continue to work for a certain period of time. But in some instances, you cannot. So make sure you look into that, see what the renewal terms and conditions are, what the processing time is, and ensure that you file well in advance so there's no gap between the time that you can run your business uh, and the time that you can't because your EAD would have expired. Also understand the limitations of your status. Remember, your H4 or L2, they don't provide a direct pathway to a green card. So while you can be on an EAD and run your business for a temporary period of time, uh, this is not permanent. So you have to look into getting permanent residency in the US through some other means. It could be through your spouse's employment and filing a labor cert, or it could be through, family means. So always make sure that you are working towards getting permanent status in the US so you can continue with your business. Most important, stay informed about policy changes. We've seen in the present administration that they're trying to change all the USCIS benefits, or maybe a lot of them. So, under the previous Trump administration, they did try to remove H4 EADs completely. That did not go through, but please keep in mind that in this present administration, they can do the same. They haven't done anything with reference to H4 EADs, but as you know, TPS has been affected, so there's no longer any TPS EAD. There's been a bill introduced in the House to remove STEM OPT. I don't see that happening, but you have to be aware of all these changes and keep abreast because now you're an entrepreneur, you're running your own business, there's a lot at stake. Finally, last but not the least, seek legal counsel wherever needed. Every situation is unique. So, consulting with an experienced immigration attorney is extremely important because they can provide you with personalized advice based on your particular circumstances, and they can help you understand the intricacies of each visa, and they can help you with extensions. They can help you with initial application of the EAD, etc., etc., and also help you guide, how what with reference to the next steps, etc. Let's now discuss a few practical tips for EAD entrepreneurs. So, you have an EAD, you have a brilliant business idea. What comes next? What are the practical steps that you need to take? First, you need to choose the right business structure for your status. There are different types of business entities. There's sole proprietorships, LLCs, C Corps. So, choose the one that best fits your needs, but make sure that uh, you're allowed to incorporate a certain type of business with your status. For example, you most probably will not be able to do an S corporation or an LLC if you're not a permanent resident or a US citizen. So keep that in mind. Talk to your tax consultant and see which type of corporation benefits you the most. Of course, comply with all business regulations. Make sure you file all your taxes on time. Register your business, file for proper wages, etc., etc., and maintain proper documentation. Keep records of your business operations, financial transactions. Of course, all your immigration related documents have to be you have to be have them somewhere in a file in case there is an audit. So these are important that you take all these efforts to document your business and your status so that you can avoid any issues moving forward. So yes, EAD holders generally can run their business in the US. However, it's important to be mindful of your underlying immigration status, EAD renewal timelines, limitations on your visas, and potential policy changes. And of course, the immense value of seeking legal counsel. We hope we hope that this episode of Immigration Fridays has shed some light on how you can start your business on an EAD. Thank you for tuning in to Immigration Fridays. Please stay informed, stay positive, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.